Good morning, Year 3. Welcome to Tuesday's maths lesson. To start you off, I want you to answer these 4 questions. So the ones with a triangle, can you do them mentally in your head? And then for the one with the square, can you do it with a written method? Okay, so give those a go. Pause the video and press play when you're ready for the answers. Okay, let's have a look then. Here are 4 answers. So 2 times 4 is 8. 7 add 4 add 3 is 14. 65 divided by 5 is 13. Because remember, you could do it as the inverse as well. How many 5s are in 65? And then 34 add 45 equals 79. Well done if you managed to get those. We will be continuing with our length work today, and we are going to be focusing on measuring in meters. To be our success criteria is I can use measuring equipment accurately, I know how many centimetres are in 1 metre, and I can measure to the nearest centimetre. Okay, so let's have a look at our first question. I want you to have a go at these 3, complete the statements, and then how long are the blue lines. So pause the video and try to answer all of those, and then press play when you're ready for the answers. Okay, so there are how many centimetres in 1 metre? We did this yesterday. Can you remember? There are 100. Well done. There are how many centimetres in half a metre? So if there are 100 in a whole metre, half of that is 50. How long is this line? So remember, we start at the 0 and we go along. Okay, so that one is on the 11, but we need to choose the correct unit of measure. So in this case, centimetres. Okay, so it's 11 centimetres. This line, okay, is in millimetres. Okay, we need to get as near as we can. Okay, so if you said 100, that is absolutely fine because it is quite hard to see, but it does actually end 2 of those little lines before, so it is 98 millimetres. So you get an extra point if you did that. If you said 100, that's absolutely fine. Okay, Annie is comparing the lengths of 1 metre. So she's got a table, and this is her metre stick. So we can see it's going up in 10, so 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay, 100 centimetres. So she puts a line at the end so she knows where her metres rule is starting, and then looks at the end of the table. Does the metre ruler quite get to the end? So the table is longer than 1 metre because it went past the end of the ruler. Okay. So she's still comparing those metre lengths. This time she's looking at the size of the doll's house. So is this more or less than a metre to start with? And then counting up along the side, remember we did it in tens a minute ago, how tall is the doll's house? Okay, so we start at the bottom, go along there so we can see when it's up. So it is shorter than 1 metre, and we can also work it out. So we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 centimetres. Or because it's not a whole metre yet, we would put 0 metres and 6, so 0.6 metres. Okay, so you can do it in different ways. Okay, so 1 metre equals 100 centimetres, and she hasn't got that. Okay, so the house is 60 centimetres. So I just realised I put 6 there, sorry. I'll add in my wobbly 0. Okay, so she's got a table here showing her results. So the house is shorter than a metre, and the table is longer than 1 metre. Have a look around you. Can you find 2 things that would go in each of those columns? Something that would be shorter than 1 metre, and 2 things that would be longer than 1 metre. So pause the video and have a think. Okay, so I can't show you the answers for this because everyone's got different things in their houses. So I might say the table I'm working at is longer than metre. Okay, my door, the height of the door is taller than 1 metre, whereas my pen is definitely smaller. Okay, so is my plant pot. Okay, so we've got some different things around us that we can start to estimate. Okay, so the children are measuring Mr. Rose. Have a look. How tall is he? Okay, so it's in meters again. He's not only just over 1 centimetre, so have a look. How tall is he? Okay, so we start at 0, draw a line to where it finishes. Okay, so we've gone past 1 metre, so we know it's going to be 1 metre something. Okay, and then we've got to work out this difference here. So again, we can count in tens, but we also know that this halfway mark is 50. So we can just carry on. That's a very bad 5, sorry. Okay, can just carry on from the 50, so 60, 70. So he's 1 metre and 70 centimetres tall. Okay, you can also write it as 1.7 metres, and that would be fine. Okay, so Ron and Amar have been measuring their arm span. That is, when they stretch their arms out, they measure from fingertip of their longest finger to the other fingertip with their arms stretched out. Okay, and I'm going to show you part of a tape measure, and I want you to work out how long Ron's arm span is. Okay, so here's our part of our tape measure, and Ron's arm span comes up to this line here. So pause the video. How long is his arm span? Right, so we need to look quite carefully. So it's over 1 metre, okay, but the next measurement is 10 centimetres. So we're not counting up in tens each time for these lines. These lines are only going to be worth 1 centimetre each. So we've got 1 metre, 1, 2, 3, 4 centimetres. So how would we write that down? Okay, so Ron's arm span is 1 metre and 4 centimetres, or you could write it as 1.04 because we haven't got any tens yet. Okay, metres, so you can write it as a decimal as well. Okay, so Amar's arm span is longer than Ron's. So remember where Ron's was. Okay, his was 1.4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, so 1 metre 4. He was here. Amar's is up over here on this line. Okay, how long is Amar's arm span? So pause and have a look. Okay, let's have a look. So we've got 1 metre, and we've got 1 metre 10 here, so we can use that. So 1 metre 10, 11, 12, 13. How would we write it down? Okay, so we've got 1 metre all the way along, and his arm span is 1 metre and 13 centimetres, or you can put 1.13 is also fine. Okay, so his is longer. Ron and Amar decide to measure the length and the width of the classroom. Okay, so we've got a diagram of the classroom, the length and the width. Okay, altogether they measured 12 metres. The classroom is twice as long as it is wide. So this length along here is double this one down the side. Remember, it's 12 altogether. How long and how wide is the classroom? So pause the video, use the clues you've got, and see if you can work it out. Let's work through it and use what we've got. So I'm going to use a bar model to help me. Okay, so the width is 1 length and the length is double that. Okay, and altogether those 3 different sections add up to 12 metres. Okay, so 12 divided by 3, because we've got 3 sections, equals 4. So each of our sections is worth 4 metres. Okay, so now you know this, how long is the length and how long is the width. So the classroom is 8 metres long, because we add these 2 together, and it is 4 metres wide. Okay, so today's challenge, complete the quiz on Teams, and if you do have a ruler or a tape measure that is long enough, you can measure some of those bigger items as well. Have a go at measuring something that's over 1 metre and working out the length. Tape measure is probably easier because they tend to be longer. If you've got a ruler, so mine's like the ones at school, 30 centimetres, you can still do it, but you'll have to add up the different amounts and keep swapping it around. Okay, so a tape measure does tend to be a bit easier for these bigger ones. Okay, so you could measure some items in your house or when you go out for a walk, things like that. So have a go at measuring some of those bigger things. Maybe measure how high one of the bushes is that you walk past, or how wide the path is, things like that, as long as you're not tripping people over with your tape measure. Okay, so send me some photos on Tapestry of your measuring. It'll be great to see, and enjoy your task.